On a scorching morning in the vast desert of Afghanistan, I, Solid Snake Pliskin, embarked on a crucial mission to locate and extract information from Big Boss. I was aware that I would be navigating this treacherous landscape alone, with only my skills and determination to rely on. The odds were stacked against me, but I was prepared to face any challenge that awaited. Securing transportation was my first priority. I stealthily moved through the sand-covered terrain, keeping a keen eye out for any signs of a suitable vehicle. As luck would have it, a battered truck appeared on the horizon. Its battered exterior hinted at the countless miles it had endured, but it would serve my purpose well. I swiftly approached the truck, hot-wiring it with practiced ease, and revved the engine to life. With the rumbling vehicle under my control, I set off towards my next objective, disabling the communication system. The radio waves pulsated through the air, connecting the enemy forces and providing them with a means of coordination. I knew that severing this link would sow confusion and hinder their response to my presence. It was a crucial step towards gaining the upper hand in this deadly game. As I neared the communication outpost, I observed the guards stationed at strategic points. My training kicked in, guiding me to silently neutralize each one, ensuring that my movements remained undetected. The element of surprise was my greatest asset, and I intended to exploit it to its fullest extent. Drawing closer to the outpost, I could see the massive antenna tower reaching towards the sky. It was the heart of their communication network. With careful precision, I planted explosive charges at its base, ensuring that the ensuing detonation would cripple their ability to transmit vital information. A flick of a switch, and the explosive charges erupted, shattering the tower into a twisted wreckage of steel and debris. The blast reverberated across the desolate landscape, signaling a major setback to Big Boss and his cohorts. However, I knew that disabling their communication was only the first step. To unravel the mystery surrounding Big Boss, I needed a live source, someone who held the secrets I sought. It was time to find an individual within their ranks whom I could interrogate. Moving stealthily through the compound, I encountered resistance at every turn. Enemy soldiers, unaware of my presence, patrolled the area with vigilance. My movements were precise and deliberate as I silently dispatched them, leaving no room for error. The stakes were high, and I needed to gather the necessary intelligence swiftly. Each captured officer became a potential source of vital information. Armed with my knife and trusty Uzi, I approached them methodically, applying pressure to extract the knowledge I sought. While my methods were ruthless, I maintained control and focused solely on the mission at hand. My intention was never to inflict unnecessary harm, but to retrieve the crucial puzzle pieces that would lead me closer to Big Boss. With every interrogation, the pieces of the puzzle began to fit together. I uncovered hidden bases, clandestine weapons, and the motivations that drove Big Boss's actions. Yet, as the picture became clearer, so did the realization that this mission was more than just finding a man. It was a journey into my own beliefs and values, testing the boundaries of my own morality. While I pressed forward, relentlessly pursuing the truth, I noticed a change in my approach. The line between justice and vengeance began to blur. The weight of my convictions pushed me towards a more ruthless path. My knife and Uzi became not only instruments of extraction, but also symbols of the darkness that dwelled within me. With each officer I confronted, I grew increasingly aware of the brutality that resided within me. It was a necessary evil, a means to an end. As Solid Snake, I found myself immersed in the perilous depths of enemy territory, relentlessly pursuing the truth and hunting down the elusive Big Boss. To achieve my objective, I knew I had to extract crucial information from the officers within their ranks. With each encounter, I delved deeper into the heart of the enemy, inching closer to my ultimate goal. Armed with my extensive training and arsenal, I embarked on a systematic campaign to dismantle their defenses and exploit any weaknesses. Each officer I encountered became a potential key to unlocking the mysteries surrounding Big Boss and the larger conspiracy at play. I approached them with a mixture of caution and determination, ready to employ any means necessary to extract the vital knowledge they held. Infiltrating their bases and facilities, I relied on stealth and cunning to evade detection. The shadows were my allies, concealing my movements as I silently dispatched guards, one by one. I knew that a subtle and calculated approach was necessary to maintain the element of surprise and gain the upper hand in each encounter. As I encountered officers of varying ranks and levels of involvement, my interrogation techniques adapted accordingly. I utilized a combination of psychological manipulation, intimidation, and relentless pressure to break their resolve. Each interaction was a delicate dance, balancing the need for information with the preservation of life and the avoidance of unnecessary violence. The officers proved to be a varied mix of loyalty, fear, and treachery. Some resisted my advances, clinging to their oaths and remaining steadfast in their silence. Others, driven by self-preservation or a wavering sense of loyalty, succumbed to the intensity of my questioning. Through a relentless pursuit of the truth, I pieced together the intricate web of alliances, betrayals, and hidden motives that surrounded Big Boss. With every breakthrough, I climbed the ladder of their hierarchy, gradually ascending the ranks. Each officer I encountered provided a stepping stone, leading me closer to the enigmatic figure I sought. However, this ascent came at a price. The more I delved into the darkness, the more I questioned the righteousness of my actions. I was becoming a hunter, mercilessly tearing through their defenses in search of answers. Yet, amidst the chaos and violence, I never lost sight of my own humanity. I remained acutely aware of the fine line I treaded between justice and vengeance. I sought to minimize collateral damage, aiming to neutralize rather than eliminate my targets. The lives lost were not taken lightly, and the weight of their sacrifices burdened me with a solemn responsibility to bring the truth to light. With each officer, I gleaned vital pieces of information that fueled my determination. Clues to Big Boss's whereabouts, plans, and motivations began to surface. I deciphered coded messages, unraveled hidden caches, and connected the dots of a grander scheme. The more I learned, the more I realized the magnitude of the forces at play and the importance of stopping Big Boss. As I relentlessly pursued my mission, I found myself questioning the nature of loyalty and the complexities of human nature. The officers I encountered were not mere pawns in a game. They were individuals shaped by their circumstances, bound by their allegiances, and driven by their own desires. I had to navigate a moral tightrope, understanding the shades of gray that clouded the battlefield. Throughout this arduous journey, I clung to the belief that the truth was worth the sacrifices I made. I fought against the darkness that threatened to consume me, reminding myself that the end should never justify the means. My purpose was to protect, to serve justice, and to uncover the truths hidden in the shadows. With each officer I interrogated, I edged closer to Big Boss, the elusive puppet master orchestrating the chaos. The path ahead was treacherous, but day after day, I pressed on in the unforgiving landscape of Afghanistan, consumed by my mission to locate Big Boss and extract the information I sought. Alone and undeterred, I ventured deeper into enemy territory, relying on my razor-sharp instincts and the lethal tools at my disposal, my trusted knife and the relentless firepower of my Super Uzi. The scorching sun beat down on me, but I remained undeterred. Every step taken, every encounter faced, brought me closer to unraveling the enigma that was Big Boss. With each officer I apprehended, I honed my interrogation skills to extract the valuable knowledge hidden within their minds. My knife became an instrument of both intimidation and precision, a silent reminder of the consequences they would face if they chose to withhold the truth. The remote outposts and hidden strongholds became my battleground. Swift and silent as a ghost, I struck fear into the hearts of those who stood in my way. As my knife found its mark and my Uzi barked its deadly symphony, the enemy crumbled beneath the weight of my determination. I was a force to be reckoned with, an agent of justice on a relentless pursuit. With each squeeze of the trigger and every twist of my blade, I was driven by a single-minded purpose. The information I sought was the key to unraveling the complex web of intrigue woven by Big Boss and his cohorts. There was no room for hesitation or mercy. I was a predator in a world of prey, always one step ahead, exploiting every opportunity to gain an advantage. But even in the heat of battle, I remained mindful of the thin line I walked. The temptation to succumb to the darkness and let vengeance guide my actions was ever present, but I was resolute in my commitment to preserve my own humanity. My knife and Uzi were tools, not instruments of senseless violence, and I used them with calculated precision to achieve my objectives. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months as I tirelessly pursued my elusive target. The harsh environment took its toll on my body, but my spirit remained unbroken. I encountered officers of varying ranks, each possessing a unique piece of the puzzle. With my knife poised and my Uzi at the ready, I relentlessly pressed them for the truths they held. Their fears and vulnerabilities became my leverage, and with each revelation, the truth came closer to the surface. Yet, with each successful interrogation, a moral weight settled upon my shoulders. The toll of extracting information, of bending the will of those I encountered, was a reminder of the fine line I straddled. I had to remind myself that my actions were necessary to expose the truth, to bring justice to those who had been wronged. As the days turned into nights, my determination burned brighter than ever. I could sense that the endgame was near, that Big Boss was within my grasp. With every officer I squeezed for information, I climbed higher in the hierarchy, unraveling the twisted threads that connected them to their enigmatic leader. The Super Uzi and the gleaming blade of my knife had become extensions of my very being, inseparable from my pursuit of the truth. They were the tools that carved the path through the chaos, a means to an end. In the midst of the violence, I remained vigilant, never losing sight of my ultimate goal, to expose the darkness and restore balance to a world torn apart by deception and betrayal. With each passing day, Afghanistan bore witness to my relentless pursuit. My knife glinted in the sunlight, and the thunderous roar of my Super Uzi echoed through the rugged terrain. And as I pressed on, driven by an unyielding sense of justice, I knew that every squeeze, every strike, brought me closer to the ultimate confrontation with Big Boss himself. The intelligence I had painstakingly extracted from the officers revealed a trail of breadcrumbs, leading me to a hidden stronghold deep within the heart of Afghanistan. As I approached the fortified compound, my senses heightened. The stakes were higher than ever, and the air crackled with tension. The familiar weight of my knife and the reassuring grip of my Super Uzi served as constant reminders of the battles fought and the sacrifices made along the way. They were symbols of my unwavering determination and the lengths I was willing to go to fulfill my mission. Silently infiltrating the compound, I moved with the precision of a predator stalking its prey. Guards patrolled the corridors, unaware of the imminent danger that lurked in their midst. One by one, they fell victim to my lethal skills, silenced before they could raise the alarm. I navigated through the labyrinthine structure, leaving no stone unturned, as I pursued the man at the center of it all. Finally, I stood before the door that led to the heart of the stronghold. Taking a deep breath, I readied myself for the confrontation that would define the outcome of my journey. As the door swung open, my eyes locked with those of Big Boss himself, a man whose legend had cast a shadow over the world. With a speedy resolve, I advanced towards him, my knife gleaming in the dimly lit room. Big Boss exuded an aura of power and cunning, but I knew that he was not invincible. He was merely a man, like any other, driven by his own ambitions and desires. The time had come to bring him to justice and unearth the truth that lay hidden within his enigmatic persona. The room crackled with tension as we engaged in a battle of wits and wills. I questioned him relentlessly, determined to squeeze every last drop of information from his guarded soul. Each swing of my knife and every round fired from my Super Uzi were calculated moves, aimed at breaking through his defenses and unraveling the secrets he held. But Big Boss was a formidable adversary, refusing to yield easily. He matched my every move, countering with his own intelligence and skills honed through years of experience. The struggle intensified, each passing moment fueling the fire within me to expose the truth and bring his reign of deception to an end. As the room filled with the echoes of our clash, I could feel victory within my grasp. Big Boss's defenses crumbled, and the truth spilled forth like a floodgate open. The revelations were shocking, shaking the very foundation of my beliefs. I had walked a treacherous path, sacrificing much along the way, but the truth I sought was now within reach. With the information extracted and Big Boss defeated, I emerged from the stronghold, a changed man. The weight of the mission lifted from my shoulders, replaced by a sense of accomplishment tinged with introspection. The journey had tested my limits, challenging the boundaries of morality and pushing me to the brink of darkness. But in the end, I had achieved what I set out to do. The information I had squeezed from officers and the final confrontation with Big Boss had shed light on the tangled web of deception that had ensnared the world. I had played my part in uncovering the truth and restoring balance, knowing that my actions were necessary, albeit harrowing. As I left the desolate landscape of Afghanistan behind, I carried with me the scars of my journey. The memories of the officers I had squeezed for information and the battles fought with my knife and Super Uzi would forever be etched in my mind. But I also carried a newfound understanding of the complexity of human nature and the sacrifices required to fight for justice. Solid Snake Pliskin.